Hello and welcome to the Black Tower. I'm your host, your guide, your brother, Sorcerer Armanasul. Alright, as promised, Huber. Who or what is Huber? The second being of the Azonei, H-U-B-U-R, Huber, is equated to Taurus. Taurus is the bull of the heavens. Hoorah. What's so great about the bull of the heavens? Well, because in ancient times, the bull was sacrificed and its blood was used to anoint a new king. Imagine that. It also gives rise to the concept of to give life, you must take a life. And so power is bestowed through the blood, so forth and so on. But how does all of this lovely rhetoric have anything in the world to do with Huber? Who or what is Huber? Huber is by far one of the coolest goddesses I have ever had the pleasure or the ability to work with. Uh, Huber appears to me as a very very beautiful woman, probably in her early 30s, I would say, uh, with a knee-high skirt on that is made of scales. Outline, it's white, silver, and the scales are the color of lapis lazuli. And she also has this really cool thick band around in front of her. No shirt, breast showing, whole 9 yards. Also made of lapis. And like I said, and you can tell that she's gave suckle. You can tell with her breasts the way they are. They're not like perky, like, oh, I've never bore children before. No, you can definitely tell. Which brings us to the next part. Okay, so check this. In an earlier video, I said that she reminded me a lot of Lilith. Now, upon channeling and working with this being and everything, and through research and everything else, Huber is actually an old Mesopotamian goddess, predated the Hebraic Lilith. However, she was reinvented as Lilith, according to her. That is one of the names that she has been called, is what she said to me concerning that, is that is one of the names I've been referred to as. And so, I was like, well, cool. So take that with a grain of salt. Take it, leave it, throw it away, keep it, put it in your pocket, do whatever you want to with that little bit of information. But let us get down to this. Let us explore Huber just a bit more. In the Necronomicon, page 155, 156, it says, if you'll give me just 1 minute to find this, this is my second attempt at this video, the first time, because of all the stupid apps on this thing. Huber arose, she who fashioneth all things, and possessor of magic like unto our master. She added matchless weapons to the arsenals of the Ancient Ones. The Ancient Ones, as you know, is Tiamat, Apsu, Kingu, and the rest of the Azonei. Not to be confused with the 11 monsters, okay? Let's not get that confused. But to the arsenals of the Ancient Ones. She bore monster serpents, sharp of tooth, long of fang. She filled their bodies with venom for blood. Roaring dragons she has clothed with terror, has crowned them with halos, making them as gods, so that he who beholds them shall perish, and that with their bodies reared up, none might turn them back. She summoned the viper, the dragon, the winged bull, the great lion, the mad dog, and the scorpion man, mighty rabid demons, feathered serpents, the horsemen, bearing weapons that spare not, fearless in battle, charmed with the spells of ancient sorcery. With all 11 of this kind, she brought forth, with Kingu as leader of the minions. So the 11 are her minions; they are her children. So, with that being said and done, I will now have to refer to my notes because, see, when Necronomicon is kind of divided, if you'd seen that, there's like 9. It comes out to like 9 of these things that are her children. Like I said, I didn't stop there. I just kept researching and studying. And so I made a list of who the 11 are. And the page is not being friendly to me. Not one bit. There we go. So, 11 whom Huber bore. Kingu who leads. The first, the viper, the dragon, the winged bull, the great lion, the mad dog, scorpion man, rabid demons, feathered serpents, horsemen. Now those you all heard. Sea monsters and gods of the deep. Now, gods of the deep made me automatically think of the old ones. Like Cthulhu, that they were talking about not dead but dreaming in the underworld where Erish Kagal rules. But I'm thinking that it means something else. The interesting connection here is that Taurus is the bull of heaven. Okay. Now, what are the two planets ruling over it? Whatever. You have Venus, who is the ruling planet, and you have the Moon, which is the exalted planet. Uh, so check it. This all connects with the heart. Okay. Now, what's so interesting about this concept of these 11 monsters, and she bore them, much like in the tree of Klepoth, where when dealing with Lilith, you're in Malkuth, much the same way Huber is, because Taurus is a symbol of the physical plane. Okay, so the rock upon which the Baphomet sits, would be considered Malkuth, the kingdom. It'd also be considered the root chakra, the chakra of desire, lust, stuff like that. And if you've read other high magic stuff where it talks about bringing lust and worship even unto death, this is where you get it. Stuff like this, beings like this, powers like this, gods and goddesses like this. And then ultimately, you may find a god in this area, but let me tell you something. It is the goddess who rules here. And that is cool as shit. I don't care what anybody says concerning it. That is cool as hell. But anyway, let's explore that a little bit more. Let's explore the thought there. Okay, so in some of my practices of working with Armin, and who was awakened by Lilith's kiss and all this other stuff, and he caused her to menstruate, so forth and so on. This raises up lust and stuff like this, and this is the true power. This is sexual potency, which is also a symbol of Taurus, is the birth, the creation. Like, for example, the bull being potent, and birthing, having many baby cows and all this other stuff. The continuation of life. Both from the people who ate the cows to the cows having more cows, so forth and so on. Sorry, that sounds a bit out there and a bit twisted and a little bit nonsensical. I apologize, but the thing about it is it's about tending to the spark of creation, the life giver. Okay, and a lot of times it's been said that the closest that a woman will ever get to death is when she gives birth, which is interesting because this is how you connect the dots. This is how you bring everything full circle and see it in the order in which it's cast. All right. So, with that being said and done, let me try to make sense of this for you. So, like with the thing with Lilith, if you work with Lilith or whatever, she represents lust, desire, not necessarily how to get a piece of ass, which I guess that works too, but it's not really about that. It's about finding that lust and that desire inside yourself to enjoy life, because what good is life if you don't enjoy it? And so beings like Lilith would represent the lust, the desire, the enjoyment, the sensuality, if you will, which is directly connected to sexual intercourse and things of that nature. So how is it that Huber crosses over? How does this work like this? Huber, much the same way. Huber here represents the mother who gave birth to all these beings, who gives suckle to them, takes care of them. She has a very serpent-like nature. She really does. If you have the ability to be clairvoyant or to see, summon Huber, call her, evoke her, whatever, and you might hear a slight hissing sound. She might even talk clear enough to where you can see that her tongue is like a serpent's tongue. You also notice that the scales that are on her skirt goes down to her knees. Looks like they're made of serpent scales, which I thought was rather interesting. She's very, very powerful goddess, very in control, very just, nonchalant. She is straight to the point. I will tell you that right now. Communicate with her, have a reason or a purpose to be calling upon her, because she certainly comes across like one who's just like, I'm not dealing with any shit. And so I think that's kind of neat, because the symbol of Taurus in the zodiac is all about the pleasures of the flesh and so forth and so on. So, and you can see it in her with the fact that she has no top on and everything else, and it does induce lust to a degree, yes. Much like Lilith, which is why I can connect the two, and when communicating with her was like, how is it that you're, are you two connected? Are you the same person? And all she said to me was, I have been called by that name. And I was like, okay, well, is that you? She's like, all goddesses are the same goddess, and all gods are the same gods. And I was like, all right, for your cryptic answers, rock on. And so let's get into this a bit more. So the horned moon, the horned crescent moon, is a symbol of the bull, right? And it's been equated to the moon. Check that. And so that's how the moon and Venus work, okay? Venus over the heart and love and lust and all this other stuff. And the moon over the subconscious magical aspect of it. What connects us. It's more than just, damn girl, you look fine, or that's one hot man, or whatever. Then it comes into more like you're drawn to a person for reals, like you're truly sexually attracted to them. You're just you're pulled to them. You're something so attractive and so seductive about them. Well, this is the power of Taurus, okay. And through working with Huber, you learn self gratification, the gratification of others, because it's a give take thing, so forth and so on. And like I said, she came in on April 20th. Huber took over Kingu's role, which if any of you had worked or called upon Kingu, you may have noticed that he wore what looked like a leopard or lion skin over his right shoulder down to his left hip, and had a spear and his sandals and everything. It's kind of a war type dude, but he's kind of not necessarily relaxed, but just just was what he was type thing. And Huber just seems like just no nonsense, very serious type, but the power's still there. The influence, the feel, and everything else is almost. It's almost like if you had a throne and you had a king or a queen that was not allowed to laugh or joke, or that everything was so serious. Huber almost comes across that way, and because it is her reign, her time of reign, her rule, if you will, this somewhat makes sense in my head. Not fully, but a little bit of what I've seen and what I've communicated with her and everything else. If you don't mind, though, I'm going to read over my notes here. Okay, so May, Taurus, Huber, she who fashioneth all things, the bull of the heavens, which is a reference to the thigh of Set, the two adzes, the Big Dipper is the adze, takes life to give life, the creation of life from seed to egg and so on, Venus and Moon, so forth and so on. Also, connection to the High Priestess card of the Major Arcana of the Tarot. Looking at that, see what you can make of that. Also of the Moon, but the Moon is the gate by which you enter in. And then the High Priestess is the goddess who rules behind the gate. Ain't that something for that to be Venus and Moon? And that's how it connects. Moon is the gate, and Venus is the power that's right there at play. And that's Taurus in a nutshell. When you're doing a sigil, make a sigil for Huber. Do the constellation on the stone, which I'm sorry I don't have mine on me. I'd have to literally stop what I'm doing and go pick it up to show it to you. Black stone about so big. The dots for the constellation. Visualize it, saying Huber's name. Now the word of power. Because if you'll watch the first video about Kingu, I tell you a general how to call. Make your gate. Tiamat's hill on the bottom right. Bottom left as you're looking at it is the symbol for Apsu. Top left above Tiamat is the ruling planet, which is Venus. An exalted planet is above Apsu on the top right as you're looking at it. And that's the moon. And then in this time it would be an inverted triangle because it's the earth element. So the inverted triangle would be above on the center. And then in whatever magical script you want, the power word is Kakab U Alap Shame. That's a mouthful, but that's how you pronounce it. Kakab U Alap Shame. And that's according to the pronunciation guides in the Simon Necronomicon. I told you I'd get back to this. I wasn't going to leave this out, and this is very important because April 30th to May 1st, Walpurgis Night, whatever word you wish to call for it, the May celebration, the fires of Beltane that burn. And this is a time for reproducing. This is a time for creating life, for seeking abundance. Check that. So don't miss out. You have to go a whole nother year before this power comes into play. And with all these planets going retrograde and turning all the forces and the attention inward instead of having to worry about everything outside you changing and going to hell, now we're having to pay attention to the stuff inside us, okay? Like Pluto went retrograde, Saturn went retrograde, which means that we have to turn inward. So now we have to pay attention to our inner world. And part of doing that is calling forth Huber using the power word Kakab U Alap Shame. Okay? Say this however many times you want to. Really quick trick that most high magicians use, ceremonialists use, is that however many letters is in the name of the being that you're calling, vibrate or chant the name that many times. So Huber has 5 letters, so you would say or vibrate her name 5 times. Which, if you're really good at this, you won't have to do it that much. She's quick on. She hears you. And I don't know if that's because the veils thinned out between us and her rule, or what. But it's a lot easier now to connect with her. I said earlier that I was having a hard time transitioning. I even had a hard time transitioning from Aries into Taurus when it happened. That's when all the weird shit in my head went happening, and my belief system went to change, and the way I wanted to do my channels changed, the way I wanted to present myself, show myself, because I like being lighthearted and not so serious and stuff, but I also don't want to turn it into where, I come across like a jokester or, anything like that, because, I'm not low-key. I don't teach through trickery. Hierophant. My brothers out there, they'll know what that is. Those who have been into ceremonial high magic knows exactly what the Hierophant is. The teller of truth through lies. But anyway, getting back to this though. So, the Big Dipper itself, the Great Bear, has also been referred to as the Adze. And the Adze was used in Egyptian burial rites to open the eyes and the mouth. And the Taurus constellation has the second Adze, and there was 2 of them. One was for opening. They were also made of different material. I think it was silver and iron. I'm not for certain, but I know one was iron. The iron Adze, which was related to Set. Iron was a Mars thing. That makes sense. So forth and so on, and I won't get into that. But the thing about it is that the one time a year they tell you to watch the gates when the Great Bear hangs from its tail. Guess when that is? Holy shit! May 30th and April 1st in the morning hours. The Great Bear will hang from its tail. And so therefore, through your sexual rights and everything, and giving honor to Tiamat Apsu, or whatever, Samael and Lilith, which is a good one, which is the one I like, so forth and so on, or anyone that you want, don't forget to enter into the underworld. Check the gate where you left your higher self, your watcher, to stand guard, the power self behind in the underworld. To watch that gate, go to the gate. See it. It's a double star, split in half. It's a star that's been broken in half, politely, right down the middle. See it become one. Draw the elder sign over it. And when you're opening the gate and you're doing your right, open the gate so that you can commune with the powers, so forth and so on. Don't let it go for over an hour. If it does just a little bit, that's fine, but close the gate, seal it, so forth and so on with the elder sign, because that's what truly closes it, so forth and so on. I think I pretty much got all of this down. The incantation on page 86 now, because I actually put strips of paper to separate the thing. Exorcism against the possessing spirit. Oh wait, I think I got that wrong. No, it's at the very top. It's called the Incantation of Protection against the Workers of the Ancient Ones. When the great bear hangs from his tail in the sky, is my notes on this. The Shama Shah Kashaptiya, Apishya, Mushtapishtiya, and so forth and so on. Anyway, go all the way down there to the Zedingir Gal Kashiba Kampa. It says this is to be recited 7 times in the circle of flower before the Agamasaratu. When it is found, the worshippers of Tiamat are raising power against thee or thy neighborhood. Or it may be said, and this is where I got this, when the great bear is suspended from his tail in the heavens, which is during the time of Taurus on April 30th to May 1st. Because I don't know about this whole workers of the ancient ones against me and all. I don't know anything about that. But I know that if you're keeping to the priestly workings of keeping watch over the gates, set the gods' attention, the elder gods, to watch the gate that it may ever be sealed and kept shut. You have to tell the elder gods to attend you in your ceremony and to keep watch on the gate that it may remain closed. Now, this is after you have done your sex rite, or if you're not doing a sex rite, you're just working it the way you want to do it, do it. Do it however. It really doesn't matter. Self-gratification. Whatever you're doing, do it. But at the end of that, though, you do want to say that, and you want to say this spell 7 times. It's the Incantation of Protection against the Workers of the Ancient Ones on the top of page 86 in the Simon Necronomicon. Now, I also... you have to give offerings to the ancient ones using the Dur of Ender, of course. The Hymn to the Ancient Ones, page 199 to 200. Bear with me here, because oh boy, that's way back there. So bear with me here. Trying to hold this and flip through a book at the same time. It's so much fun. Here we go. Okay, page 199. It's called Hymn to the Ancient Ones. Break out your Agamasaratu. Break out your bread. Break out your lancet or your razor, knife, whatever you're using to draw blood. Dot it upon the bread. Set your charcoal briquette to burning, or set your fire in the bowl. Whatever you want to do, however you wish to do it. And while putting the bread onto the charcoal briquette so that it's consumed, or holding it over the flame if you don't have a charcoal briquette, which is fine. You ain't got to turn it into a toast, but you get my meaning. Don't hurt yourself. But do the Hymn to the Ancient Ones while offering the bread and the blood. And then right after that, you want to do the Invocation of Powers, which is page 200. The Invocation of Powers. And at the very bottom of page 200, it says, "And Lagash I summon thee to mine aid." One they left out. "In Kesh I summon thee to mine aid." And then go up to the "Rise up, O powers from the sea below seas" on page 201. So remember, there's a sentence missing from page 200 at the bottom. It says, "In Kesh I summon thee to mine aid," is what it should say. That's because those are the 7 who watch over. I'm pretty sure that this was done so that just anybody couldn't pick up the book and just go to raising hell upon earth. But I don't see why they would care. All in honor, all in offering, all in working with these gods and goddesses, ancient or elder, I don't care. Old ones, they're all beautiful, wonderful beings of power. They are you and you are them. Show them some love, show them some respect. Give them an offering, invoke this power here so that you're ready for this. And then begin your rite, your great rite, if you will, the sex rite, whatever. Or like I said, even if it's just a self-gratification thing and giving your seed or fluids or whatever, knock yourself out. Throw it on there too, man. Just offer it up to them, But you have to know how to energetically harness the energy that you've created sexually and how to push it out. Because if you don't know how to release, and I don't mean release, I'm talking about if you don't know how to release energy from yourself to something, definitely start practicing on it between now and then so that you know how to release energy. Releasing like that should be a problem. But I'm just saying, on the energy-wise, though, you want to release that energy because it's an offering. It's a gift unto HUBUR. Remember that, unto HUBUR. Okay, now I didn't say who she got fresh and friendly with, and it really doesn't matter. But at any rate, this is the secret behind all of this, and this is part of thing. And also, way beforehand, write down on a piece of paper your true desire, your true wish for the year ahead. What is something that you yourself want to give life to? Whether it's a better, stronger, more powerful you, whether it's a more content you, whether it's a more uh, willful you, whether it's a more richer you. Maybe you want sex for money. Man, look at things. You know what I mean? You got me out there. But anyway, that's how you would do this. And then you would offer your desire up to the flame after the sex rite. You can put some of the sexual fluid on it. This makes it more powerful. You just burn your petition. And then you're going to want to do the crown of Anu over yourself after you've sealed and closed the gate. You're going to want to do the seal, the yeah, the thing of Anu, crown of Anu, whatever. Uh, Exorcism of the crown of Anu. Damn it, Waylon. Get your shit straight. So you're going to want to do that. Give thanks unto the gods, everything else, so forth and so on, and go about the rest of your day. This is also a good time, believe it or not. The thing about May and the Beltane fires is that the fires would burn all night. So if you've got a candle that you can leave lit all night, you're going to be awake all night to do, this is perfect. If you can't stay awake all night, that's fine. Just light it, put it out before you go to bed. When you wake up, if you're still going to be up and whatever, light it. Let it finish burning out. The important thing is let it burn out during the first. That way, all the power and everything that you've worked up, that you built into, that you're working on, so that it's fully exonerated and given out there to the universe. That being said and done, I know this was long, drawn out. I do apologize, but peace, blessings, and power to each and every single one of you. Till next time.